Welcome to Zonk. Story 1. I, 19 female, cheated on my 5-year-long boyfriend, 21. We've been together since I was 14 and have had a pretty rocky relationship because I have bipolar tendencies, and ever since I got on birth control a year ago, it's been worse. He is someone who is very positive and optimistic, but I've always been the negative Nancy, and I'm aware of it. He hasn't been with me physically for a while because he was wanting to grow with me emotionally and felt our whole relationship was becoming about sex. I lost patience about 4 months in, and I got high with one of my friends and ended up in a guy's dorm. Today I got the call from the doctor's office saying I tested positive for chlamydia, and I thought it would be the right thing to do to tell him. Have the hard conversation. I told him, and he isn't talking to me much. He probably doesn't have an STD because we haven't had sex in so long. We live together, so it's kind of hard to just give each other space. He finally talked to me about it 4 hours later after I kept pestering him, and he just said that he feels disgusted by me. The fact that I cheated, but also that I got an STD. He said he feels he might be better off alone and not with anyone than trying to be with someone who cheated on him and so negative all the time. I feel like that's unfair. I cheated on him because he hadn't been giving me pleasure for a while. We haven't had sex in months. I want to give him space to process and stuff, but I'm just not sure how I can live life with a huge part of me missing. Him. Any advice on what I should do? How to deal with this? If he chooses to leave, it's natural that you will miss him, but it's the consequence of your actions, and sometimes we must accept and move on. Take the opportunity to reflect on what went wrong and work on self-improvement. By addressing the reasons behind your infidelity, you can ensure it won't be an issue in future relationships, preventing you from hurting your next partner in the same way. All I can say is to hope and pray that he gives you another chance. Otherwise, your relationship may be irreparably damaged. Comments. First you cheated, then you were tested positive, then you told him you cheated. Only because you tested positive. You don't have a leg to stand on. You apologize and hope he forgives you. If not, he decides to move on. You'll just have to live with the consequences. The worst thing that can happen here is the two of you stay together without him truly forgiving you. You have betrayed his trust. This is the worst thing you can do in a relationship. You cheated, and you didn't even have enough respect for yourself or him to use protection. Your mental illness is not an excuse. Lots of people are bipolar, but they don't run around letting randoms bust a nut raw. You need to own your shit, and that means acknowledging that this young man would be better off without you. Let him go and sort yourself out. Next time you're in a rocky relationship, either fix it or walk away. Don't cheat. No coming back from this one. You probably need to start looking for another place to live. If you are that unhappy in the relationship, you should have broken up with him. What you did was shitty, and hopefully you'll learn from it. At 19, you should stay single as you're obviously not mature enough for a relationship. Story 2. So, he and I met when a few months before the start of my college and we hit it off right away. But I come from a high social class and he's a level below. So the middle class, so my parents didn't like him, saying that all he's going for is the money. However, he gave so much love and care for me in our relationship. He even stood from morning till night, refusing to leave until my parents let him properly introduce himself, which eventually they did let him because he believes that it's only right a man should introduce himself out of respect to the girl and the parents. My dad was fine with him, but my mom still didn't like the fact that I was dating a lower class. Then my mom didn't like my college as well that I took, and art course, saying that it's a bullshit course. She refused to enroll me on my second year, and I was told to either take a course she wants or I get out and find a job. I wanted to run away to my parents because for my whole life my parents have always hurt me emotionally and mentally, but he said if I go with him he can't give me the same comfortable life, and he can't guarantee that I'll be able to live the dream I want, so he told me to suck it up since I have 2 years left to study anyway. My mom told me I can go to art school, but in exchange I have to break up with him. I told this to him, and he said to just sacrifice him. He knows what it's like to not finish college, so he doesn't want me to end up like him. The deal was, he doesn't go anywhere near me while I'm studying. He was always sweet and kind. He would treat me, take me to his family, even ride the bus home with me when it's late to make sure I'm safe. Help me cope with my BPD. His love and care made up for his short temper. He can be quite controlling at times, but I decided to be understanding since his ex cheated on him. He didn't go anywhere near me. I talked to him the night after our breakup, and he told me to be patient and to wait, that this is the challenge that we're to wait. That this was the ultimate test of our love. He said he'll wait until I graduate, then we can be together. I would send letters to him. I would avoid boys often because I wanted to remain loyal to him. I would send him little gifts. A month after I got sick and talked to him, I found out he has been talking to a bunch of girls online. Then I would talk to him weekly, and he would keep pushing me away. He was being cold. He would tell me to stop talking to him, to get out of his life, that we're no longer together, there's no us, not to hope, not to wait. He told me not to hope for a future with him and not to wait for a future with him. He said he's not sure if he can wait for me. He said there's no us anymore, so I'm free to do whatever I want. I was so lost and confused, and I felt so dirty. For the whole time we were together, I was so happy that we even planned a future together that I didn't hesitate to give him everything. Even the thing I was scared to give the most was my body. I felt so dirty and worthless that the man I love so deeply, and the same man who said he truly loves me, that he would die for me, is pushing me away and quickly went messing around with other girls. He would pop out of nowhere every now and then, but when I reply, he quickly turns cold and pushes me away. Still, I waited. I rejected every confession because I wanted to wait for him. I wanted to only be with him. I would even save money every week because I thought when I graduate, I want to take him somewhere with me for a week abroad as a thank you gift for waiting if ever we get back together after my studies. I thought maybe take him to South Korea because he used to talk about how he wants to visit that place but didn't have the money for it. He was such a big part of my life that when he was gone, it's like he left a big empty hole. I tried to fill it up desperately by going to countless art seminars and hanging out with my friends, but there was still so much space. Eventually, I went online on random stranger chats and just talked around and met a friend there. Then we shared kinks and stuff. My ex changed the passwords of his accounts saying that we're no longer together, so he has to change it, but he hacked into my accounts. Back when we were together, he demanded I give him access to my social accounts, wear only the clothes he finds safe, and talk to only the people he allows me to. And because I loved him and I believed he was always just looking out for me, I listened to him. He would make me block people and leave groups. Every time I didn't do as he said, he would get mad, and eventually in our relationship, I became scared to do things without his permission and to wear the clothes I like without his permission because I didn't want to hurt him. He was often skeptical of me. So I was surprised when he suddenly messaged me in anger saying that he went to my account. He saw my chat with the guy saying that I cheated on him, saying that I did him wrong and how I betrayed his trust. I told him that he said it himself that we're over, and he said that we were never really over because if we were, he would have blocked me from the very beginning. That there he was waiting, and then he finds out I'm talking to some guy online. I was so confused. I love him, and I knew I hurt him, so I said I would do anything to make up for it, but he refusing to do so. He said I was the worst, and how he was caring for me all this time, that he would check on me and tell me to stay safe when he was scared that he saw that there have been a lot of kidnappings lately. I was begging and pleading, but he said he can never forgive me, and I just lost a tiny diamond in a pile of sand, but he still loves me. So he said he wants me to take care of myself better since he'll be leaving me. He talked to my online friends saying how it's his fault he has to leave me. He told me even if he wants to open his arms to me again, he might never treat me the same way again, and it may hurt me. Then he blocked me. I really love him and I want him back. My friends say that if he truly loves me from the bottom of his heart, he would forgive me and take me back, and that he would let us have a relationship that we're both comfortable with. I don't know what to do. I know I hurt him bad. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should try to get him back or let him go. You two broke up, then he hooked up with plenty of girls. He told you there was no us, but the second you decided to move on with your life, he's all Hulk mode and is all, you betrayed me. Nah, He's a gaslighted manipulator. He wants to sleep around freely while keeping you tethered, OP. Cut him loose and move on with your life.